Want a supercar but need to go off-road? You need a Lamborghini Starato. Extra ground clearance, just the thing for those rutted tracks. Welcome to Lot 76 Cars and the Pistonheads Annual Service 2024. Quite a lot of cars to see, as you can probably see in the background. It's just starting to warm up here. Let's go and have a walk around and see what this show's got to offer us. So first up, Johnny Smith's putting in an appearance with his genuine Cedric Taxi, Nissan Cedric Taxi. It's got a low rider suspension, air suspension on it, but I think apart from that, that's it. It's even got those lovely sort of doilies that they put over the seats in Japan, over the head restraints. It's got the proper taxi lights on the roof. It's got a taximeter there. It's even got the proper parking poles there to obviously on those tight Tokyo streets to see where the corner of the car is. Oh, that's absolutely immense, isn't it? Wow, that's a cracking start. So let's have a walk inside the main hangar and see exactly what's inside here. Wow, some cracking cars. Let's go and have a look, shall we? So this is a super rare Lynx Eventer. They converted about 60 odd of these, I believe. And the Lynx Eventer was based on the XJS, but the elephant in the room, or the obvious elephant in the room, is this. So look at the space. Is there any other XJS that's going to have that level of interior space? So it's a full four-seater in there, plus you've got all that space. Now this one in actual fact was double converted. It's the only one that's also got a TWR performance kit on it, so it's been bored out. It's got those lovely bottle top wheels in there, and we're just going to take a quick look inside. Absolutely beautiful. Obviously the Eventer nameplate down in the carpet. We've got the handbrake there on the right hand side. Lovely little courtesy lamp there, isn't it? Look at those toggle switches, lovely chrome toggle switches. Not a bit of plastic to be seen there. And again, probably what you'd recognise as pretty much standard XJS interior. What an absolutely incredible car that is, isn't it? Fabulous. So yes, it's a DeLorean built in Belfast in relatively small numbers, pretty much all left-hand drive. Only one official paint finish or colour, which is this brushed aluminium or stainless steel finish. I can't remember which off the top of my head. Now it's got the PRV, the Peugeot, Renault, Volvo V6 engine, so it's not actually that quick. But what a dramatic car. Was it the film that made the car or the car that made the film? I don't know, but this one's got, looks like it's got the full Back to the Future display in there. Maybe it's got a flux capacitor fitted, we don't know. Possibly. Doesn't it look an absolute treat? Honestly, I don't really care how it drives, it just looks immense, doesn't it? So an early Porsche 911. Now this is a 911E, so I'm taking E for Einspritzen, which is German for fuel injection. If I've got that wrong, then stick it in the comments. It's possible. It's a 2.4 litre, and doesn't it look absolutely lovely in that colour? The early 911s to me, that clean look, no spoiler on the back, just looks absolutely right. Those sort of Fuchs alloys that they've got. Very tiny rims, lovely little chrome mirrors. What an immense looking little car that is. Beautiful, isn't it? So MST Developments, based over in Wales, have built a number of Escort, not even resto mods to be honest with you. I mean, these are properly brand engineered as almost as brand new cars, but this time they've applied their skills to an RS2000 looking Escort, but with the X-Pack. So the X-Pack was sold by dealers, official rally packs to sort of beef up your Escort and other cars in the Ford range. And they look to pretty much like this, but this one's on steroids, isn't it? Look at those immense sort of mini light looking wheels on there. Absolutely beautiful attention to detail with these. And I bet it goes like absolute stink, doesn't it? What a lovely car. If you've got the budget, I don't even ask how much that is. If I do find out, I'll put it on screen. But honestly, that looks immense, doesn't it? So an enterprising company called Innovate have taken a Honda E and fully rebodied it, from what I can see, in carbon fibre. Now these cars look really lovely, really cute little cars as an electric vehicle, very limited range, but I guess when you beef it up like this, it really means business. I mean, here, it's almost unrecognisable. The full dash that's got a fish tank, yeah, believe it or not, in the standard car's gone. It's got a full cage in there. Everywhere is just dripping with carbon fibre. And we'll just take a look from the back of the car as well. It's got a spoiler that really means business. Wow, that's probably the way the Honda E should have looked from new. I guess that's what a few people would want, wouldn't they? So the BMW Z8 was supposed to evoke the 507, the very limited series sports car BMW launched in the late 50s, and it did it quite successfully. Designed by a team under Chris Bangle, obviously doesn't suffer some of the styling attributes of some of the other Bangle generation cars. These struggled a little bit when they were new, but they've found their feet now, and good examples like this appear to be commanding something like £250,000. Now that styling, it's really distinctive, isn't it? It's a good retro. It's got very narrow tail lamps on there, that low rear deck. Let's try and have a look inside it, because the car's actually open as well. Love those. Oh, it's got the Alpina wheels on it. Beautiful interior, sort of modern but retro at the same time, with those fabulous BMW quality materials. That looks great, doesn't it? Well, I must admit, if I'd got the budget, that's certainly one that I'd add to my my car collection. It certainly looks a treat, doesn't it? So this is the very innovative Honda ZE1 generation Insight. So they were officially imported into the UK by Honda UK. This is one of their cars. It's got their plate on. I'm not sure if it's Johnny Smith's car. It may well be. And you've got a combination of a petrol engine and a battery. So I think it's classed as a parallel hybrid. Quite an interesting interior trim in there. We'll try and open that and have a look if it's open. Well, we can. You've certainly got to like lime green, because the inside is almost as bright in places as the outside. Looks an absolute treat. There are no rear seats in this. I'll just show you that in the back. There's just a big loading deck in the back of the car, but handily there's that lower window, which does make reversing a little bit easier. From the days when Honda were really innovating with hybrids and right at the cutting edge. So the first car was very significant for them. Got those covered spats covering the wheels, all about aerodynamics, all about lightweight. I think it's pretty much aluminium. What an absolute treat to see that. So this one's badged as Opel Manta. It's got a 3-litre 24-valve engine in there. Looks like an Opel engine in there, as you would, beautiful finish inside there, isn't it? All the right labels on. Somebody's gone to quite a bit of trouble with that car, haven't they? There's something about that Manta shape, particularly in this three box design rather than the hatch, that just looks so right, isn't there? That's a beauty, isn't it? German registered. Well, it's certainly got German plates on it. I think it might be having my leg pulled with the fact it's running on German plates, but there you go. So they may look like a Mark 1 Elise, which it's based on. This has been re-engineered by Analog Automotive. The engine's, I think, been bored out a little bit. The K-Series engine is now giving, wait for it, 220 brake horsepower at the wheels. And they also tell me that as well as the engine upgrades, they've made the car lighter. Is it actually possible to make a Lotus Elise lighter? Well, in this guise, I am told that they've actually got the weight down to 699 kilos. Now, I was recently driving an old Japanese-based K car, and even that was heavier than this. My God, 220 brake horsepower, 699 kilos. Do the maths, that's a quick car, isn't it? So this is the BMW M1, and this was originally developed to help BMW compete in sports car racing and obviously really take the battle to Porsche. The original development of this car was done by Lamborghini. Now Lamborghini were in a perilous financial position as the program progressed in the late 70s, and eventually BMW had to take it back in-house. Absolutely fabulous looking car, super rare to see one of these. Those lovely gills down the side of it, some stunning features on there, aren't there? This is just a lovely supercar, isn't it? I must focus in for a second. Excuse me, I'm going to go back and have a look at those wheels. Those Campagnolo wheels, don't they just look massively understated? Wow, that is a fabulous car, isn't it? Well, I am honoured to have seen that one here today because it looks an absolute treat. So Ginetta, originally established in Essex by the Warcliffe brothers in the, I think, the 50s. The company's still producing cars today, a little bit different under the ownership of Lawrence Tomlinson, sort of more race cars for the road, or race cars that can go on the road, fitted with the Ford Z-Tech engines. This is one of theirs, and I was lucky enough to go to one of their events last year and meet some of their owners and see these racing on track, and a lot of current F1 stars or future have cut their teeth in the Ginetta One Make Racing series. So really an uncompromised racing car, but still road legal. Brilliant. Well, you don't often see Ferraris in that colour, do you? So this is a 308 GTB, which looks absolutely immense in this emerald green colour with a sort of tannish coloured interior. Beautiful looking car, looks like an official UK car. And the Magnum era cars, Magnum PI, well, that's what everybody knows them as. But that's also a very beautiful looking sports car, particularly with those buttresses at the back. What a cracker. So a Rover SD1, who gets tired of seeing this David Batch design, inspired, we believe, by the Ferrari Daytona? Maybe, I'm not sure if he ever actually stated that. Beautiful interior in this Vitesse. It's a later facelift car. Look at that long instrument pack that goes right the way across the car. I think making conversion from right-hand drive to left-hand drive and vice versa relatively easy. These are starting to be appreciated for what they are. Super Grand Tourers and absolutely belting cars to drive with that V8 engine. That's glorious, isn't it? So this BMW E30's bored out to 2.7 litres. Lightened and balanced flywheel, I think it said in there. Is badged as a 325 IS, not a designation I recognise, certainly not from the UK. Beautiful interior, sports its original car phone. Motorola, remember, they were a badge of honour for the businessman with his mobile phone. Looks beautifully stunning condition, got an M Technique rear spoiler. Well, what's not to like? That's lovely, isn't it? So Porsche apparently claimed that the 968 was about 80% new, but clearly it is a son of the 924, 944 generation cars. This is a club sport, so they basically deleted everything, all the lessons they'd learned, and they took out air conditioning, they took out, I think they even took out a stereo, and they basically came up with a very lightweight version of the car. I think total 50 kilos. Looks brilliant with those side stripes on there, doesn't it? We'll try and get a look around the back as well. This one has got leather seats, or part leather seats by the look of it, and these are becoming the one to have in terms of pure handling, maybe not in terms of specification. These are the ones. Lovely. So Bruno Sacco, famed Mercedes designer, designed the R129 SL, but this is probably the most indulgent. Yes, it is. The SL600. Well, why is it indulgent? Because it packs a V12 under the bonnet. So if you're going to do it, this is what you need to do. This is the ultimate, pretty much the ultimate R129 SL. What an incredible car that one is. So Chesil Automotive, or now Westfield Chesil, appear to have been going for ages building these. They're not even kit cars, they are superb almost continuation 356s, now built on a bespoke chassis rather than a Beetle chassis with a, I'm told, a brand new 1776 VW engine. Let's take a look inside it one, because this is where the action is. It is beautiful. You've got that quite deep seating area there. You've even got supposedly a couple of seats in the back, though I wouldn't like to travel too far in them. Look at the fit and finish there. Well, it's a new car, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it, really? If you want something that I guess is usable day to day without having to fettle it in the garage every week or fight off rust, what better way to start is with one of these Chezels. And if that colour is not to your taste, then we can also show you that one as well. Wow. So there you go, Chezel Speedster. So a real Ferrari 250 GT is something like about £8 million. Now, this Mirage, I'm going to get the owner Steve to tell us about it in a second. It's a beautiful, stunning recreation. You know, it would be extremely rude to refer to this as a kit car, because when you see the fit and finish of it inside, it's absolutely stunning. So let's have a chat with Steve and see if he can tell us a bit more about it. So Steve, tell me about this car. It looks, it smells, it feels like a Ferrari 250 GT. It looks like it's finished like one, but it's not, is it? What's the story?
It's absolutely not. It's a creation by a company called Mirage,
okay,
which are based in North Wales near Wrexham. This was one of the first ones that was built, and I did a lot of the work. I rebuilt the engine and the gearbox and the chassis, and fitted the body, and then it went away to trimmers and paintwork, and this is the end result. And everything is to look like a Ferrari, but it's not.
And what's the chassis?
The chassis is Mirage's own space frame chassis.
Oh wow, okay, lightweight. And the engine? The
engine is a BMW from an E46.
So it goes quite a bit then as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely, and the engine's been light and balanced, and the cylinder heads have been done nicely. So you use the engine, the gearbox, and the rear diff from an E46.
Right.
But now you can actually just order and buy one of these cars.
Wow. Well, the fit and finish is immense. So
you can choose your own spec. This one has got Napa Bentley leather.
Wow. So
it's the best leather, and as you're sat in the car, it smells wonderful.
It does, absolutely. Well, thank you for telling us about it, Steve. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Good.
So we've got a rather nice Aston Martin Volante here. Love this is in navy blue. Who picked their Volante navy blue? Well, I'm glad they did. They had the wheels to match. They've got a lovely navy blue piping on the inside. Beautiful car. Now, I did sort of... useless fact about this car is the rear lights. Somebody did tell me that once they were from a VW Santana. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but they certainly convinced me. Anyway, it looks immense, doesn't it? So the origins of the Nissan Skyline, I think originally called the Prince Skyline. This is the Nissan Skyline, I think RB26, 1970. Look at that fantastic chrome detailing around the lights, typical of the period. We'll try and get a look a bit further around. Is that the filler cap there? I guess it is. Lovely pillarless coupe look. Obviously any doubt that it's a Skyline is erased with the badge there. It's a proper four-seater. Do like that pillarless look. Nice bit of 1970s fake wood going on there as well. Well, that looks a treat, doesn't it? What's under the hood? Well, it looks like it's got a modern day Skyline GTR twin turbo, so my guess is as good as yours on how quick this is, and finished in this lovely aubergine colour. Well, that's a treat, isn't it? So it's an E34, and it's an estate with a split tailgate, which, okay, starting to get a bit more unusual, but it's badged B10 with a 4.6 litre conversion by Alpine. Alpine is classed as a manufacturer, properly engineer their cars. And this one is one of apparently only 19 producing, wait for it, 340 horsepower. It's been magazine featured, and I must admit this combination of practicality and looks and performance, there's actually a lot to like about that, and I really like it. So here's the original MST development of the Escort Mark 1. I think probably the BDA engine in it, and not badged as Ford anymore. Got the dog bone grille, recognisably from every single angle a Ford Escort Mark 1. But haven't they done an absolutely immense job? If you've got a budget, probably the cost of buying one of these might be even cheaper than having one fully restored to the same standard. And you've got cracking looking car there, haven't you? Now sometimes you need to make an exception for supercars when they're as beautiful as the Ferrari Roma. That shark-nosed grille on the Roma, absolutely stunning curves on that car, isn't it? It really is immense. I mean, it's got hints of all sorts there, but I suspect that's probably one of the most beautiful Ferraris we've seen for a while in recent years. Probably paid several £1,000s for those inlaid badges on the side. I'm sure this is the drop top version. The interior, it looks pretty immense as well. Yes, it does have looks that stop the traffic, and that's probably one of the Ferraris that would tick the box for me anyway. So if you need full four-seater family transport, how about a Ferrari Purisangue? Is that the right way to pronounce it? God only knows, I'm not sure. Well, you know what, I was drawn to the colour on this one because it isn't red, it isn't a standard or traditional Ferrari colour, but say £313,000 buys you a full four-seater, that stunning sort of suede tan interior, which looks absolutely immense, doesn't it, in there? I'd be scared to park that one down at the shops, but if you weren't and you had the budget, then I think you've got actually quite a good looking SUV there. Even the coffee van looks interesting, doesn't it? It's an old Peugeot. Well, I better go and grab a coffee on the strength of that they've made the effort to come along in something as immense as that. So quick coffee break, and there is plenty more to see, so stick with us. There is quite a bit we haven't covered yet. So in full Sebastian Loeb livery is the World Rally Championship Citroen C4. What a distinctive livery. I did see somebody recreated one of these, I think on Seen Through Glass a few years ago, and it looked immense. I mean, honestly, you would attract quite a fair bit of attention driving down to your local supermarket in that one, wouldn't you? What an incredible looking car. Well, if you haven't seen anything special enough today, I think this has got to top the lot, hasn't it? It is a recreation of a Porsche 917 Le Mans car. An absolute legend, got the legendary Gulf livery. Well, why wouldn't you? What an incredible looking beast that one is, isn't it? Well, if you want to draw the crowds today, probably that's the car to do it with. Well, this is a nice find here. It's the Elan Plus 2, so all the lightness and handling of the standard Elan, but in a Plus 2 full four-seater configuration. Pop-up lights, interesting metal flake roof on that one, isn't it? An M, that must be quite a late one, 74? It must be sort of towards the end of production, I would have thought. So the first car designed not in-house at Rolls-Royce was this Pininfarina Camargue, designed under Vickers ownership. It's an immense looking car. For a certain period of time it was the most expensive car in the world. Didn't sell particularly well. I think 500 or so sold. The owner's here, so he's invited me to have a look. So let's have a look what the most expensive car in the world would have looked like back in the 70s, would that be? Oh, look at the door handle, how it pivots downwards. The doors are immensely heavy, as you would expect. Well, it's certainly got that traditional smell inside. The carpets, you could get lost in the carpets, they're that thick. Well, it's certainly well appointed in a space for 4 people, as you'd expect. Beautiful, I guess, walnut finish on the dash. Look at some of the switchgear there. Really traditional switchgear. Not a chance of a touchscreen being in there back in those days, was there? Look, very simple. Wow, absolutely lovely. I might need help closing the door on this one, it's so heavy, but does shut rather well, doesn't it? Well, there you go, a Rolls-Royce Camargue. Stunning, isn't it? So originally transformed from a race car and evolved into a road car is this stunning Mercedes-Benz 300 SL from 1963. I think a year they didn't produce too many of these cars. Absolutely beautiful detailing here. Just look at those touches with the badge there on the back. I am in love with that colour. If there was a colour to have one in, I'd absolutely have ticked that box back in the day. That is right up my street. So look at those detailed lights, those very narrow lights on the back there. Lovely boot handle. It looks like it's got something just protecting the key there. I'm not sure if they must be original, surely those door handles, but look at those door handles, how they're recessed into the door. Massively over-engineered like Mercedes used to be back in the day. Wow, that is an incredible looking vehicle, isn't it? Well, it's for sale apparently by private treaty, but if you've got to ask, you can't afford it, and I've got to ask, so there you go. Lovely. So this is one of 14 964 Speedsters that actually came to the UK. It's an official UK Speedster. Absolutely lovely design with that cut down windscreen. It's on sale for a snip at £225,000. I'll skip over that bit. Lovely condition though, isn't it? You can get, I think the design of this works so well, doesn't it, where you lose obviously that huge hood over the back of it and you end up with something much more sleek looking. Yeah, I can see why these are highly prized. So I'm with the guys at the Intercooler, and their award-winning podcast is definitely worth a listen. It's my listen on the way to work, and they've got here somehow they've got the 1971 Ferrari lineup. So let's go through them. We've got the beautiful Ferrari Dino, named after Ferrari's son. No Ferrari badges on it anywhere. It's badged only Dino. These cars, I think this particular one was owned by Andrew Frankel's dad. We're talking about cars that are in the £300,000 era. So let's have a look at the second car in the 1970 Ferrari lineup. Hang on. So the second car in the lineup, a bit more practical, is this four-seater Grand Tourer. I think a 365 GT4. Only had a very short life, apparently of about 18 months. So no wonder I've never seen one before. They can't have actually produced that many. Well, there you go. Is it as pretty as the others? I'll leave you to decide. So this is a Ferrari Daytona, obviously, but it's one of the rare plexiglass cars. So the lights at the front are behind that rare plexiglass. Subsequent cars had pop-up lights. I didn't know that, to be honest. Somebody pointed out that to me. So this is quite a rare one. Stunning, stunning looking car, isn't it? To be honest with you, from every angle. Quite simple inside. Quite a simple layout, as you expect from the time. No fripperies. Does look immense. That sort of typical open gate gear change. Beautiful, isn't it? So that's what you were offered if you wanted to go and buy a Ferrari down at the showroom in the early 70s. You got a choice of those three. So built in Modena, Italy, with an American Ford powertrain, is the De Tomaso Pantera. I think it was designed by Gandini, although it does wear gear badges before the days that gear was just a trim level on a Ford. What a stunning looking car. Now I think Alessandro De Tomaso was something like an Argentinian or something like that. He wasn't actually Italian at all, but these cars were sold in various formats, but they were sold officially, I believe. There was a plan to sell them through the Ford dealer network in America. I'm not sure if that fully worked out, but that's a lovely example in that sort of signal orange, isn't it? What lovely car. Look at the size of the rear tyres. They're massive, aren't they? That's great. So this held the title of the most aerodynamic production car, at least in saloon format. Yes, it's the Audi 100. So if you look at the flush even fitting glass, you can see how it fits so close. There's no lip on the side window or the front window. Really ahead of its time in terms of aerodynamic. And this is the Avant. This is the very seldom seen estate version of it. Wow, it is a long time since I've seen one of those, I must admit. Now, I'm not sure we actually got this version of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evos. Yeah, this is badged as GSR Evolution 2. I'm not sure it came to the UK. If you know different, then please feel free to tell me. It's right-hand drive, but that could mean it's a JDM, Japanese domestic market car. You've got the sort of bucket seats with the wings on the side. It is a manual gearbox by the look of it. Yeah, what's not to like? That would make it what, early 90s, something like that, I think. Now GM have really pushed the boat out with the latest generation of Corvette. I believe even this generation has a waiting list for it at the moment. Is it Corvette? Is it still recognisable as a Corvette? Maybe, maybe not. Certainly it's got the Stingray there. It's a great looking car, isn't it? You certainly wouldn't be ashamed to park that next to any Ferrari, would you? I think they've done a good job, and probably it's a reliable and relatively cheap car to maintain with, you know, robust American mechanicals, I guess. I haven't quite seen anything big enough today. Well, let me offer you the Ford F-150 Raptor, imported by Clive Sutton. It's a mere snip at £155,000 if we ignore the VAT. It's we need to step up. I'm not even tall enough to check the oil on this or the coolant. Wow, that is an immense piece of kit, isn't it? God only knows where you would park it, because I mean this makes a Defender look small, quite honestly. Incredible details, those wheels, and the size, the sidewall on the tyres alone is just massive. You've got a full, what, 4, 5, 6, who knows how many seats you get out of that one, because it's so big. A decent load deck in the back. Of course, you've got your Raptor graphics on. You want to let everybody know it's a Raptor, it's not the standard F-150, but there you go. Very imposing. If your budget will stretch it, Ferrari Specialist RML will build you for 1.35 million a RML short wheelbase. So basically, superbly engineered with a Ferrari powertrain in there. Basically, they talk about modern comfort and performance. Well, it's incredible. I'm not sure about the colour combination on this one. Maybe that's not to your taste. It's a little bit bright, but open gear change, left-hand drive format. I guess at this sort of price range, you can have anything you want. Top speed, 185 miles an hour apparently, if, where permissible. We'll try and get a shot from the back of it without falling over something. Well, there you go. That is, if you've got the budget, that's the one to go for. So famously used to help with the development of the McLaren F1 road car is this Ultima. It's got, I think the guy said it's got a Chevy block in there, 6 litre or something. It's a cosy place to be, isn't it? I have to say. If I could, might be able to get in. I'm not sure about getting out so quickly. At least the doors go, you know, cut into the roof a little bit, so you've got better access. Immense looking car, isn't it? Absolutely immense. If you've got something you want to stand out with, that's the one for you, isn't it? Now this one floats my boat from its cheese cutter front grille. It is a Vauxhall Senator from 1993. Well, the number plate says growing old is mandatory, growing up is voluntary. Well, I'll take their word for it. It looks a cracker, doesn't it? Wow, what a lovely looking car. And it's a 24 valve as well. What's not to like? Lifted by 1.7 inches is this Lamborghini Sterato, or LP, Huracan Sterato, LP something, LP6, so it says down there. Wow, well that is an incredible way to have a crossover that you never knew the world wanted. It's got a decent pair of lights on the front of it if you want to go off-road, and I believe you might even be able to lift the suspension even further. Well, what's not to like? Probably the price, I suspect. So this was Collins Chapman's way of trying to push Lotus up market, increase the profitability, and one of the first cars they launched in this series was the Lotus Elite. People have forgotten about the Elite. This is a 504, so the designations I think went 501 to 504. This is top spec, came with automatic transmission and would have come with air conditioning from new. That's quite quite a thing back in the day, wasn't it? The owners rebuilt this one over a period of some years, and it is actually the doppelganger for a corgi toy I had as a kid. So that looks great, doesn't it? What a usable looking supercar from the 70s. So I guess this car is probably on Instagram, look at the number plate, but this is an E38 7 Series. Now, it looks to me like a long wheelbase, looking from the side view, and the amount of space in the back of it. That's an incredibly unusual colour, isn't it, for a 7 Series BMW back in the day. I don't think there can be too many actually produced in that colour, to tell you the truth. Well, it's certainly striking, isn't it? Very striking. So MG Rover quite bravely offered a monogram paint range where you could virtually choose almost what you wanted, I think. This is what Nissan used to call back in the day chroma flare. Depending what angle you look at the car from, it's got a completely different finish. So it makes a relatively normal Rover 75 really stand out, doesn't it? Well, you'd certainly find it in a car park looking like that, wouldn't you? You'd be the only one. So thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars at the Pistonheads annual service at the Bicester Heritage. Please like, share, subscribe, click on notifications so as to be informed as to when my next videos release. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.